Welcome back everybody. In today's video I'm going to teach you the proportions of the male body. This is one of the fundamental topics for figure drawing and comic book drawing. Therefore it's important that you understand these proportions and you can always remember them. The method I'm going to use to teach you the male proportions is the 8 heads measure. The ideal male is 8 heads high and about 2 1/3 heads wide. Although for superheroes, these measurements are exaggerated to emphasize the hero's power, and these heroes can be almost 9 heads high. Let's get started. I've marked 9 lines horizontally across, with the gap between each line representing 1 head. Therefore this figure will be 8 heads high. I've also drawn 4 vertical lines going down, although the main one will be the second line because this will be the center line of the male figure. You can pause the video and draw out these lines. Make sure that the gap between each line is the same size, otherwise this will affect the proportions of the body. Okay, let's start marking out the main body parts on each line. The first mark at the bottom of the 8th head will be the chin. The second mark will be a third down the 7th line. This will be the top of the shoulders. The third marking will be on the 6th line. This is where the nipples will go. The 4th marking will be on the 5th line. This will be the navel, and a third above the 5th line will be the bottom of the rib cage. The next marking will be on the 4th line. This will be the crotch, and a third below the 5th line will be the hip. Now for the second last marking, this will be on the 2nd line and marks the bottom of the knees. Finally, the last marking will be a third above the 1st line, and this will be the ankle. And there you have it, the proportions of the male body. I hope you enjoyed today's video and you were able to follow along easily. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button and leave a... What are you doing? I'm ending the video. That's not what we rehearsed. You still need to show these guys how to draw the male figure. Oh right, I forgot. Well, I guess back to the drawing board. Although it wouldn't hurt to leave a subscribe. For this male figure, we're not going to add in all the anatomy details. We're just going to keep it simplified to basic shapes because our main focus is getting the proportions right. Starting with the head, this will occupy the whole space between the 8th and 7th line. Next we can draw a line across the marking for the top of the shoulders and add the neck. Once we have done this, we can add the nipples, which should be a head apart, and finish drawing the chest. One thing to note is that the chest will end slightly lower than the 4th line. Now we can draw a line for the bottom of the rib cage and join this to the chest to complete the upper torso. Next we can draw a line across the marking on the hip and join this to the bottom of the rib cage to form the abdomen. Then we can draw a line across the marking on the crotch and join this to the hip to complete the waist. So far so good. Now we can move to the legs. Bring down the thighs to a third above the 2nd line and draw 2 circles, which will be the knees, and then you can draw the calves, which will come down to the marking of the ankle. To finish off the legs, you can add the feet. Now we can move to the arms. Start by drawing the shoulders, which will come down to the 6th line. Next you can add the markings for the elbow, which will be at the same level as the navel, a marking for the wrist, which will be just below the 4th line, and the last marking for the end of the hands, which will be in the center of the 3rd and 4th line. Now we can draw a simple shape for the arm, forearm, and hand. Ended up making the forearms too thin, so I came back to fix them. That's a simple front view diagram of the male proportions. One thing you can easily notice is that from the head to the crotch there are exactly 4 head units, and the legs occupy another 4 head units. Now I'm going to quickly show you the proportions from a side view. First start by drawing the head, then you can add the marking for the bottom of the neck and add the neck. Once you have done this, you can draw the chest. I ended up drawing the bottom of the chest on the 6th line, although it's meant to be slightly lowered. Moving on, add a marking for the bottom of the rib cage and complete the upper torso. you can add the marking for the hip and crotch and complete the waist. One thing you need to know is that the butt will be lower than the crotch. Then you can join the waist to the upper torso to complete the abdomen. My recording stopped working at this point and then started again. I had fixed the waist position, drawn the thighs, and added the knees. Once you have drawn the thighs, you can add the calves and the feet. And now to complete the side view, you need to draw the arm. Start by adding the markings for the elbow and the wrist. Next you can draw the shoulders, arm, forearm and hand. And that's the side view of the male. And for you guys on the side, I added the key landmarks for the proportions of the male. You can pause the video and write these down next to your drawing if you want. It's good to practice this again to solidify your understanding of the proportions. And there you have it, the proportions of the male body. I hope you enjoyed today's video and you're able to follow along easily. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button and leave a like. If you want to see what art supplies I use, you can check out the video here. See you there.